And if it's Thursday, well, usually it's about inspiration. You probably will be inspired by the end of this night because of one of our guests today who literally walked on the set and we hijacked him. I'll tell you about him in a moment. In the meantime, we chose to continue the topic of politics and what's been going on. Since Kericho and Malindi, corruption every single day, it seems like there's another scandal. So we must keep talking, because if we stop talking, well, it might keep going on. So we keep talking. So what decided today is to bring the Emmanuelians in the house, all the way from Emmanuelia. They showed up in the form of journalist, political commentator. He writes a column every Sunday in the Sunday Standard. And yes, he's a publisher. Barrack with the 2 R's, Muluka. And then the man who literally walked on the set, all the way from Karatina today, apparently. We decided, stay on, sir. We need to talk to you because you call it like you see it most of the time. DJ CK, the richest man in Kenya, no doubt. Look at his suit, unlike the rest of us. Chris Kirubi is in the house. Just showed up. We're going to keep him on for the full hour. And of course, thesaurus check, dictionary check, Wikipedia, Google, get them all. Even a copy of Shakespeare. Because the man with the 3 initials, literally PLO, as in Dr. PLO Lumumba, is also in the house. Twitter handles are at Barrack M, at Chris Kirubi, at It's PLO Lumumba, and at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag will continue. It's all about politics, so let's just use politics 101. Gentlemen, good to see you all.
Good to see you.
Looks like we all dressed the same until the stranger showed up.
With the double-breasted suit. it's a good break of the party.
Chris, since you're the latest entry in the best political tag team on TV, by the way, these are the best.
Are they?
So you're in good company.
Oh, wow. Welcome, guys.
You dance? You are the pink poodle.
I watch you in the morning.
Yes.
And sometimes you talk a lot of sense.
Sometimes you say.
You too, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you talk a lot of...
Chris, let's talk politics real quick, and corruption in particular.
Yes.
It seems like every day there's a new scandal, new corruption. I mean, the latest youth fund, 400 million shillings allegedly missing from the youth fund. And here we are trying to promote the youth. You are big on promoting the youth. You are at Karatina University today talking to the youth. Is this endemic? Is this runaway corruption, Chris?
I personally believe anybody who has touched the money for the youth should hang. Should really go to jail because they have jeopardized the lives of very, very many young people who had a hope that this fund at last was going to change their life. And I believe the time government will start taking action on some of these people who are being mentioned from time to time, including our famous headliner, I think people will start to understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our famous headliner being
I don't know.
Chris.
Read your papers.
Dr. PLO, is corruption run away in this country? Has it gotten out of control? Because even this past weekend, former President Daniel Arap Moi said corruption is out of control. His words, out of control.
You know, Jeff, corruption is endemic in this country. The president went to Israel and he said, I preside over a nation whose greatest claim to fame is that they have perfected the art of thievery. The Chief Justice of the country has said the same thing. The Speaker of the Senate has said the same thing. The Speaker of the National Assembly has said the same thing. What we have is a collapse of moral infrastructure. And I can't agree with Chris more that if we deal with some of these individuals' family, look at the thievery, the theft that has gone on in the youth fund. And we are still debating with these individuals.
Yeah.
In Tanzania, they are dealing with them a lot more family. In Nigeria, they are dealing with them a lot more family.
In Iran.
But we are dealing with them with velvet gloves.
Yeah.
We are debating with them. We are negotiating with them. And the tragedy in this country is that when individuals are mentioned in corruption, The next thing they say is that they want to be senators or governors,
And they get
or
elected.
MCAs.
And they get elected.
And for some reason, we as a people have a great affinity for thieves. And this is what we must deal with as a country if we want to save our nation. There is nothing worse than corruption. Kofi Annan once said that there is nothing that undermines democracy, that undermines civilization, like corruption does.
Absolutely.
And we are now voted to be the third most corrupt nation on earth. We cannot allow this kind of accolade, if it is an accolade at all, to be the one that we embrace without questioning ourselves. Something must be done, and it must be done quickly.
Yeah. In fact, you remind me, in Iran, we saw the other day in the papers, they sentenced a billionaire to death. Like Chris, billionaire. I mean, they sentenced a billionaire.
Even in
accused of
Brazil,
corruption.
the former Brazilian President Lula is now in detention. The former Bolivian, is it Bolivian president?
Yes.
Not Bolivian, I think is in Nicaragua. The president is in
do it.
jail. And this is what we need, to
Yeah.
get individuals. I'm not saying Chris should be in jail.
That's
but
okay.
individuals who engage in
Yeah, yeah.
activities which are
Yeah.
inimical to the long-term health of this country, to be dealt with family and their property to be taken,
Absolutely.
to be used for the benefit of this country. It's only then. And one thing that I must say, we have this penchant, I've seen in the recent past, when these thieving individuals are named, their communities come very quickly to claim them. Our
Exactly.
sun is as
Exactly.
white as snow. And while the country continues to suffer and the country continues to bleed, President must do something about it, the courts must do something about it, all the public institutions must do something about it, and we must not allow these individuals to continue to thrive in this country to the detriment of the country.
Barrack, PLO says we must, continue this. But do we get fatigued in talking about this? All we do is talk, talk, talk. Nobody has been arrested. Nobody's been convicted. Nobody's gone to jail. Come on. How much talking are we going to do, Barrack?
You see, we don't expect, at least I don't expect that anybody can be arrested, or if they are arrested, that it can be more than window dressing, that we start looking as if we are doing something about it, when in essence we are doing nothing. Because Chris says that government should do something. How is government going to do anything when the people who constitute government are the same people who are being implicated in this thieving? And when they have been implicated, you start seeing their colleagues in government being the very first ones to come out to defend them. Look at these affidavits that we have had these past few days. And we have seen a lot of turncoat activities, that when Anne Waiguru was first mentioned, she got protection and defense from everywhere. The deputy president defended her, the president defended her, the leader of government majority in the National Assembly defended her, the chief whip in the Senate defended her. Then a few days ago, we have seen that she has come up with an affidavit after somebody else has also come up with an affidavit against her. Then the same people who are defending her are on the front line saying this woman stole hundreds of millions and that she should be in committee maximum security prison. This is a game of musical chairs and we are going nowhere. I think nothing short of a very traumatic change is going to get anything to be done in this country.
Yeah.
What we are seeing is just drama, and I agree with the PLO that we are willing customers in this bus of corruption, that when these people come where we are, we defend them. We come as a community. Some of us are ready to be hired to escort them to the EACC, and the EACC itself is just a cosmetic decoy.
Yes.
That it comes out very quickly to say we have cleared so and so. After a few days, somebody comes up with an affidavit. That affidavit has not even been interrogated. They say, oh, we made a mistake to clear her. You know, we are not going to get anywhere until the day the citizens of this country are going to love themselves more than they love their tribal leaders. Until the day the citizens of this country are going to love their children more than they hate people who they think do not belong to their community.
Absolutely. Chris, do you agree? Is it embarrassing these days to be a Kenyan? Is it getting embarrassing?
It hasn't reached that level, but let me tell you, Jeff, the only way you can deal with this endemic corruption in Kenya is to create a martial law and give the president the power to execute those who are corrupt. Today, it doesn't matter what government does. You take people, you have to give them to the DPP. The DPP looks at files. He says this one doesn't look too bad. These ones are bad. DPP pushes the files to the judiciary. The guys go to court. They put a roadblock. And we have cases which have been in court for how many years?
Decades.
For decades. So unless we break the way we deal with corruption by giving special powers to a leader, you know, in my country, Ghana, Jerry Rawlings
Yes.
lined up all those who are really terribly corrupt
On the beach.
on the beach.
And he started with the former
Yes.
presidents.
Yes.
And he executed them. In China, the same thing happens.
Yep.
But surely, let's not talk about government. This is a lame, dark government in dealing with the corruption. Why? We have so many, what do you call them? Freedoms, right? Everybody has a say.
I don't agree it's the
No.
freedoms. No.
I don't know what they
I
are.
think we are,
What are
we are
they?
misleading ourselves. We are apologizing for a corrupt and rotten system by trying to say that we have tied somebody's hands. We have not tied anybody's hands. If your appointee is the person who has got the hands in the tails, and you have got the capacity to remove that person, it is wrong for people to come and start saying, oh, we have many rights, we have many liberties, we have many freedoms,
But what
oh,
have-
the president's hands are tied.
No. Hold on.
No.
Hold
I
on, my
think-
brother. What have they said? The other day they went to court and they said the EACC, I don't know whether it was
there were
during
no
your time,
commissioners.
and that there were no commissioners.
Yes.
These people are okay. They were not, you know,
No,
I
you know,
mean,
there is merit in what Chris you are saying. And
Yes.
there is merit in what Barrack is saying. That there are two ways of dealing with corruption. There is the criminal track of dealing
Yeah.
with corruption. Then there is the political track. What we are seeing in Tanzania now, President Magufuli is not taking people to jail. He's simply saying, if you are corrupt, you are not serving in my government. And what he does
and it
very
starts
quickly is that he sacks these individuals if
Yes.
they take political responsibility. And what one wants to see in this country, look at these individuals in the youth fund. These individuals who are engaged in blatant theft.
Yeah.
And they are still debating in parliament.
And they're still in office.
And they are still in
Criminals.
office.
They're still in office.
These
These
are
are
individuals who ought to have been dealt with family. They ought to have been removed from office. They ought to have been arrested. They ought to have been dealt with expeditiously. Individuals who are, some of them are governors. We've got to bring political pressure to bear on these individuals. So there is a sense in which you say, in which I agree with you, that we have put in place laws which presume that we are decent people.
yes.
But we have demonstrated by word and deed
That we are not.
We are not decent, particularly those in the political class, that we say with our mouths what we do not believe in our hands. And perhaps we ought to revisit some of these laws so that we are able to deal with these individuals' family. Look at the chicken gate. Look at the cases involving Mr. Gishuru and Mr. Okemo
Yes.
in New Jersey.
my
Yeah.
They have been packed in our courts for 5 years. Meanwhile, they have been dealt with conclusively in Jersey. Look at Chicken Gate. Look at Sani Abacha case in Nigeria. One gets so angry when you see individuals who belong to the jail cell who are pontificating to us. But President Kenyatta can take a leaf from President Magufuli and from President Buhari, and he will be amazed at how the people of Kenya will be behind him.
And